Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour. After Trump shooting, US President Joe Biden and Donald Trump seek calm and unity. Biden asks compatriots to lower the political temperature and resolve differences at the ballot box, not with bullets. In a rare moment of bipartisan solidarity, the Biden campaign calls off verbal attacks on Trump, pauses television ads critical of its Republican rival. Trump to attend a Republican Party convention that will nominate him as its presidential candidate. He will likely announce his choice for vice president. Khadga Prasad Sharma Oli, appointed new Prime Minister of Nepal, would be sworn in on Monday. And a super Sunday for Spain as its men's football team wins European Championship. And in tennis, Carlos Alcaraz defends his Wimbledon men's title. US President Joe Biden on Sunday ordered an independent investigation into the security for the rally where a shooter attempted to assassinate former US President Donald Trump. Addressing the nation from the White House's Oval Office, Biden said there is no place for any kind of violence in America. He asked Americans to lower the political temperature. Biden urged people not to make assumptions about shooters' motive. He also said he ordered a full review of the security for Trump's Pennsylvania rally and to assess the security in place for the Republican National Convention this week in Milwaukee. It was Biden's third use of the formal setting of the Oval Office to comment on issues of major importance to Americans since he took power in 2021. Last October, he made a primetime speech to comment on the Gaza and Ukraine conflicts. And in June of 2023, he spoke when a deal was reached with Republicans to avoid a breach of the U.S. debt ceiling.
There is no place in America for this kind of violence or any violence for that matter. An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation, everything. It's not who we are as a nation. It's not America. And we cannot allow this to happen. Unity is the most elusive goal of all, but nothing is important than that right now, unity. I urge everyone, please, don't make assumptions about his motives or his affiliations. Let the FBI do their job and their partner agencies do their job. I've directed an independent review of the national security at yesterday's rally to assess exactly what happened, and we'll share the results of that independent review with the American people as well. And finally, I'll be speaking more about this tonight at greater length from the Oval Office. We must unite as one nation. We must unite as one nation to demonstrate who we are. And so may God bless you all and may God protect our troops. Thank you very much.
The U.S. President has received another briefing in the White House Situation Room on Sunday. Biden was briefed by top Homeland Security and law enforcement officials. He has ordered a review of federal security surrounding Republican Donald Trump. Biden also directed the Secret Service to review all security measures in place for the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee this week. U.S. President Joe Biden's re-election campaign quickly upended its strategy after Saturday's assassination attempt on Republican rival Donald Trump. Within hours of Pennsylvania shooting, Biden's campaign was pulling down television ads and suspending other political communications, including those that had highlighted Trump's May felony conviction in hush money trial. Democrats also called off verbal attacks on the former president to focus instead on a message of unity. Meanwhile, former U.S. President Donald Trump has arrived in Milwaukee, where he will be formally nominated as Republican presidential candidate later this week after surviving an assassination attempt that aggravated an already bitter U.S. political divide. Trump was holding a campaign rally in Pennsylvania, a key state in the November 5 election, when shots rang out, hitting his right ear and leaving his face streaked with blood. One person in the crowd was killed and 2 others wounded. The Secret Service agents fatally shot the suspect. Now, Trump is due to receive his party's formal nomination at the Republican National Convention, which kicks off in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on Monday. The FBI said there were no known threats to the convention or anyone attending, while the Secret Service said they do not anticipate any changes to the security plan. All right, Mitch McCann joins us from New York City for more. Mitch, a sensible move by Biden to appeal for calm and his campaign team to also halt verbal attacks on Trump?
Well, good evening to you from the United States, where it has been a dramatic 24 hours with plenty of developments into what has happened here to Donald Trump after that assassination attempt, as the FBI are calling it, yesterday in Pennsylvania. Now, Joe Biden, as you say, has addressed the country and he really pushed the sentiment that people across both sides of the aisle are trying to put across to the American people, that it is time for unity. Now, this Oval Office address is only done in very serious matters. There was one after the war in Gaza began last October, and there was one tonight, of course, about the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And here's a little bit of what Joe Biden had to say. He said it's time to lower the temperature in our politics. He said we must not go down this road in America. And in the speech, he also said we compare and contrast the character of candidates, the records, the issues, the agenda, the vision for America. But in America, we resolve our differences at the ballot box. So that's something that Joe Biden and Donald Trump and Republicans and Democrats are all trying to put across to the American people. It's time to lower the temperature, and it's time to come together for now.
Mitch, what more can you tell us about the ongoing investigation into the Trump shooting?
Well, look, we know the person that is the suspect in this case who died. It was 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. Bethel Park is a village in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. FBI are treating this as a possible domestic terrorism attack and an assassination attempt against Donald Trump. Now, this is also key. It's been reported that the FBI have recovered the phone, the rifle, and what's been described as a possible rudimentary explosive device of Thomas Matthew Crooks. And they've sent that to the FBI Analytics Lab in Quantico, Virginia, to try and find out more information. But the big question here that still hasn't been answered is, why did someone try to kill Donald Trump? And we don't know that yet, but that is what the FBI hope to answer in the coming hours and coming days.
And finally, Mitch, Trump has already reached Milwaukee ahead of his nomination by the Republican Party. Any word yet on who would be his choice for vice president?
No, not as yet, but there is some reporting that those candidates rumoured to be in the running for the vice candidacy have had extra Secret Service protection added to them and their families after what happened yesterday. And Donald Trump, has just given a short interview to the Washington Examiner newspaper talking about the convention. And I want to read you a quote of what he has told the Washington Examiner. He said, "The speech I was going to give on Thursday was going to be a humdinger. Had this not happened, this would have been one of the most incredible speeches, aimed mostly at the policies of President Joe Biden." Donald Trump says, honestly, it's going to be a whole different speech now. And you can imagine, after what happened yesterday, the whole country will be watching the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee this week.
All right, we'll leave it there. Mitch McCann in New York City. Thank you. Appreciate it. Right, moving on, Russia has claimed more gains in Ukraine, taking Uruzhino in Donetsk region. Ukraine has said that Russian forces launched a double-tap missile attack on a small town near Kharkiv on Saturday. In the meantime, the Kremlin has said that prospects for peace are unrealistic at the moment. Dasha Chernyshova has more from Moscow.
Russian Ministry of Defense says its troops have taken control over the settlement of Urozhaine in the Donetsk People's Republic. The development is set to allow for the movement of Russian troops to an important logistical hub in Velika Novoselka. The ministry also says that it hit a Ukrainian railway train with personnel and military equipment at the unloading station and destroyed combat positions of the German-made Iris-T air defense system. In the meantime, Moscow says there are no grounds for Ukraine peace talks, with NATO declaring Kyiv's quote, irreversible path to the alliance. That's why Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov says Moscow should work and achieve its goals. He said that such promises indicate that NATO will never take into account Russia's concerns, which led to the start of Russia's operation in Ukraine. Speaking about US-Russia relations, Peskov said they are in deep confrontation and that the two capitals find common ground only at the level of military and military diplomats. He added, though, that the time will come when the art of diplomacy will be needed to resolve all the issues that have been piling up between Moscow and Washington. Dasha Chernyshova in Moscow, reporting for DD India.
Still to come on DD India News Hour. The Hamas says it has not withdrawn from ceasefire talks after an attempted assassination of its military commander. And voters in Rwanda to head to the polls for the presidential election.
The gateway to Northeast India welcomes you to the land of untouched natural beauty and diverse history.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. To West Asia now, hostage and ceasefire talks are once again hanging in the balance in the wake of Israel's attempted assassination of a senior Hamas official. A senior Hamas official says they have not withdrawn from ceasefire talks with Israel after the attacks in Gaza that targeted the group's military commander, Mohammad Deif. It comes as pressure is mounting on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to do a deal with the Hamas to bring the remaining captives home. Sarah Coates has more from Tel Aviv.
Now, with fighting continuing right across the Strip, these very delicate, very fragile hostage and ceasefire talks once again hang in the balance amid conflicting reports from Hamas officials on whether the group will move forward on these talks or whether it will pull out. Now, we have heard from the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the wake of this assassination attempt on one senior Hamas commander, leader Mohammed Deif. On Saturday, he came out to say that he's not absolutely certain that Deif was killed in Saturday's strike, adding that it's generated pressure on Hamas to soften its stance when it comes to negotiations. But certainly the loved ones, the family members of these people still being held in Gaza are extremely concerned. There have been demonstrations over the last few days right across Israel as people demand Benjamin Netanyahu come to the table and do a deal with Hamas now. And we do have a statement from the Hostage and Missing Families Forum. It came out to say that by the time everyone comes to their senses and works together, there may be no one to bring back. Now, as domestic pressure continues to build on Benjamin Netanyahu to do a deal with Hamas, also international pressure is mounting. He is set to meet with US President Joe Biden at the White House on the 22nd of July. That is just 2 days ahead of his congressional address. Reporting from Tel Aviv, I'm Sarah Coates for DD India.
The navies of China and Russia are holding a joint exercise in the South China Sea and a joint maritime patrol in the Pacific Ocean on Sunday, aimed to enhance military cooperation and safeguard peace and stability. The Chinese and Russian naval fleets conducting exercises in the sea and airspace near Zhangjiang, including anchorage defense, joint reconnaissance and early warning, search and rescue, anti-submarine, anti-missile operations and air defense, and conducted trainings on the actual use of weapons. The joint drill and patrol show a wide spectrum of China-Russia naval cooperation as the two countries can send many warships to different waters simultaneously. Rwandans are heading to the polls on Monday for a presidential election, and while official results are not expected until next Saturday, President Paul Kagame looks set to secure a fourth term against two opposition candidates who were clear to run against him but have only modest expectations. Kagame first came to power in 1994 and won praise during his tenure for rebuilding the country of 14 million after a genocide in which more than 1 million people were killed. He's been in power for over 3 decades and oversaw the removal of term limits via referendum in 2015. Venezuela's opposition leaders attended a rally at one of the main universities in the country to speak with students ahead of the 28th July vote. Venezuelan opposition presidential candidate Edmundo Gonzalez and opposition leader Maria Corina Machado visited the Universidad Central de Venezuela to meet the students. The rector of the UCV had initially denied permission to hold the rally headed by Gonzalez and Machado. However, hundreds of young students showed their rejection to the decision and attended the event to show their support. Machado, who is banned from public office, is backing the presidential hopeful Gonzalez. Gonzalez will face the incumbent president and ruling party's presidential candidate, Nicolas Maduro. KP Sharma Oli, the leader of Nepal's Communist Party, is likely to be sworn in as the Prime Minister of the Himalayan nation on Monday. Sharma was appointed Nepal's Prime Minister for a fourth term on Sunday to lead a new coalition government. First elected as Prime Minister in 2015, Oli was re-elected in 2018 and then reappointed briefly in 2021. Under the new power-sharing arrangement, Oli and the Nepali Congress Party's President Sher Bahadur Deuba will rotate in holding the Prime Minister's post until the next general election in 2027. And Shweta Singh joins us from Kathmandu for more. Shweta, what do we know about KP Sharma Oli, the man, and his politics?
Actually, today 11 a.m., all the 275 member of House of Representatives have been invited by President to attend the oath-taking ceremony of Kiptition. He is a 72-year-old man, and see people have coming out from monarchy into country. So he was the one who participated along with other Maoist leaders to bring Nepal to present state of as a sovereign democratic country. So you see, it's like he's going to be prime minister again for the third time. So it is like when he was appointed, he came out of his house at Balakot and he greeted all the people who was really very beaming with happiness. So the desire of becoming prime minister for KP Sharma Oli again has fructified.
Also, talk to us a bit about India-Nepal relations, if you will, Shweta. Where do the bilateral ties go from here?
Actually, Ramesh, you see, terms between India and just not government to government. If it was government to government, then we would have been dependent on how, if a new prime minister comes, what will be view towards India. That will matter highly much more. But it is like people are connected to each other here. Culture is connected. Religion-wise, we are connected. So in that case, government ought to be in a friendly manner with its southern neighbor, that is India, because we are very deeply connected like relatives. We are not just friends or neighbors. We are more like a relative for Nepal. So in that case, I would say the relationship between India and Nepal will, I suppose it will prosper.
All right, on that note, we leave it there. Shweta Singh in Kathmandu. Thank you. Apologies, viewers, for the poor audio and video link with Shweta Singh in Kathmandu. Moving on, heavy downpour in the mountainous city of Chongqing in China caused waterlogging in some parts of the district. Heavy rains have trapped residents and caused waterlogging in southwestern China. Local officials organized emergency rescue operations to the flooded sites, opening manhole covers to speed up drainage and ensure the safety of vehicles and pedestrians alike. Heavy rains also caused landslides in the region on Saturday. The southern Russian city of Novorossiysk on the Black Sea declared a state of emergency on Sunday as forest fires have spread across an area of 22 hectares. Intense heat, strong winds and dry thunderstorms have caused forest fires across Russia in recent weeks. Fires have spread across the broader southern Krasnodar region on the Black Sea, where many Russian holidaymakers head during the summer months. Kate Middleton, the Princess of Wales, received a standing ovation while arriving at Wimbledon to watch the men's final. It was the princess's second public appearance since announcing her cancer diagnosis. After the match, the princess, wearing a purple dress, one of Wimbledon's official colours, presented the trophies. It was déjà vu for the pair, who met a year prior in almost identical circumstances when the princess presented Alcaraz the winner's trophy for beating Djokovic in the 2023 men's singles final. All right, now take a look at what else is making news around the world. The UAE appoints new defense minister and deputy prime minister, the 41-year-old Sheikh Hamdan bin Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, who has served as Dubai's crown prince since 2008. The crown prince has been appointed as Minister of Defense for the United Arab Emirates as part of a broader cabinet reshuffle. Sheikh Hamdan, who goes by the nickname Fazza, is a popular member of Dubai's ruling family. Former Peruvian President Alberto Fujimori, who served from 1990 to 2000, plans to run for the presidency again, his daughter said. This announcement has stirred considerable controversy given Fujimori's complicated legacy, which includes both praise for his economic reforms and harsh criticism for human rights abuses during his tenure. Four people were wounded, one critically, when a suspected attacker rammed into a bus stop in central Israel on Sunday. The suspect, who police said they believe to be a resident of East Jerusalem, was shot and neutralized by security forces at the scene. The attack has raised once again concerns about security and prompt calls for increased vigilance. The UN has claimed that the rising conflicts globally slowed childhood vaccination rate in 2023. More children were left out of critical vaccination drives for diseases such as diphtheria, tetanus and whooping cough last year, as a rise in conflicts across the globe hindered the supply of life-saving shots, mostly in strife-torn regions. About 14.5 million children failed to get vaccinated in 2023. One of America's most valuable defenders against fentanyl tracking at the Mexico border uses his nose to root out illicit drugs. Goose, an enthusiastic golden retriever, weaves through a sea of idling cars on a warm afternoon at San Diego's massive legal border crossing, one of the most transited in the world, with roughly 100,000 people entering the U.S. every day. At least 6 runners were transferred to hospital on the 8th and last running of the bulls of the week-long Pamplona festival in northern Spain on Sunday. The festival attracts thousands of revelers and thrill seekers from around the world to enjoy the festive atmosphere. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's High Commissioner to Maldives calls on the country's president. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi becomes the most followed global leader on X, gains more than 100 million followers. And the India Meteorological Department issues alerts for widespread rainfall across southern and central India.
Welcome to India's holiday capital.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. After Trump shooting, US President Joe Biden and Donald Trump seek calm and unity. Biden asks compatriots to lower the political temperature and resolve differences at the ballot box, not with bullets. In a rare moment of bipartisan solidarity, the Biden campaign calls off verbal attacks on Trump, pauses television ads critical of its Republican rival. Trump to attend a Republican Party convention that will nominate him as its presidential candidate. He will likely announce his choice for vice president. Khadga Prasad Sharma Oli, appointed new Prime Minister of Nepal, would be sworn in on Monday. And Super Sunday for Spain as its men's football team wins European Championship. And in tennis, Carlos Alcaraz defends his Wimbledon men's title. To accelerate the development plan of the country, Maldives President Mohammad Muizzu met High Commissioner of India to the Republic of Maldives, Ambassador Munu Mahawar. India, Maldives agreed to continue to work together towards the common goals of maintaining peace and stability in the Indian Ocean. President Muizzu emphasized India's instrumental role in the development and progress of his country and thanked the Indian government for remaining a consistent ally and among the first to aid the island nation in any critical situation. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi has become the most followed global leader on the social media platform X with more than 100 million followers. Taking to X, Prime Minister Modi wrote, and I quote, 100 million on X, happy to be on this vibrant medium and cherish the discussion, debate, insights, people's blessings, constructive criticism and more, unquote. This milestone places Prime Minister Modi far ahead of other world leaders, including the US President Joe Biden with 38.1 million followers, Dubai ruler Sheikh Mohammed with 11.2 million followers, and Pope Francis with 18.5 million followers. When compared to the social media followers of various Indian political leaders, PM Modi stands out significantly. The opposition leader Rahul Gandhi has 26.4 million followers, while Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has 27.5 million. The 13th edition of the joint military exercise Maitri 2024 between the Indian Army and the Royal Thailand Army has concluded in Thailand. Exercise Maitri 2024 reaffirms the commitment of both nations to collaborate closely in defense and security matters, further strengthening the bilateral ties that exist between India and Thailand. The joint training activities during Maitri 2024 encompassed a wide range of tactical activities, including weapon training, day and night firing, rappelling, jungle survival techniques, navigation training, communication exercises, combat first aid and casualty evacuation drills, among others. Deputy National Security Advisor Vikram Misri has been appointed as the next Foreign Secretary of India and will take charge with effect from the 15th of July, succeeding the incumbent Vinay Mohan Quatra. Born in Srinagar in 1964, Misri holds a bachelor's degree in history and MBA. He was India's ambassador to China between 2019 and 2021. World Youth Skills Day is being observed on July 15 to celebrate the strategic importance of equipping young people with skills for employment, decent work and entrepreneurship. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the Skill India campaign in the year 2015, empowering the youth of the country with adequate skill sets that will enable their employment in relevant sectors and also improve productivity. The India Meteorological Department has issued alerts for widespread heavy rainfall across southern and central India in the coming days. An orange alert has also been issued for Mumbai as some areas may face heavy to very heavy rainfall, and a red alert for 4 districts of Maharashtra was also released. The IMD further said the monsoon is said to remain active over Peninsula and adjoining central India over the next 4 to 5 days, raising concerns about potential flooding and waterlogging in the affected regions. And joining me from Mumbai is my colleague Sharma Mishra. Sharma, what's the latest you can share with us about the situation in Mumbai and other parts of the state as well?
Well, for now in Mumbai, the orange alert has now come down to yellow alert. So it's a breather for Mumbai. And it has stopped raining like it was raining in the weekend. We also have to understand here that since June, it was not a very heavy monsoon, but now monsoons have caught up. And we are also experiencing a good news over here that the catchment areas where these lakes which supply water to Mumbai, they have got a significant rise in their capacity. So now this particular capacity stands at almost 30%, which is a good sign. And we are hoping that this actually fills up pretty fast so that the water woes in Mumbai actually gets resolved. We are also talking about other parts of Maharashtra. So the Ghat areas and especially of the Konkan belt, the Sindhudurg, Ratnagiri, Raigad, these areas are actually on alert, and Sindhudurg has been issued a red alert so that everyone has to be on the situation has to be watched out for. Apart from that, Ratnagiri, Raigad, Palghar, these areas have been issued orange alert. That means situation over there would also be critical but lesser than the red alert. We are also understanding that there has been a soil slippage incident in the Ratnagiri area on Konkan Railway, and this has caused major disruption of the traffic flow of the trains. And we are understanding that the trains have been rescheduled, diverted, cancelled, regulated in that particular area, in that particular path. Also, there is an incident coming from Sindhudurg where on the Ghat areas, the road, there has been a boulder slippage incident, boulder sliding incident, and that has caused completely shutting off the road. So no vehicles can move out or move in from that particular area. So that also has affected. Apart from that, we are understanding that most of the rivers of the Konkan area, and also apart from that, other districts, including the Kundalika, Amba, these rivers are actually flowing over their danger mark. So the people who are living close to the rivers, they have been shifted at many places, and some people are in some areas. People are also living in the camps. So we can understand the situation is quite grim in these areas, and there have been several waterlogging incidents coming out from districts, including the Sindhudurg, Ratnagiri, Palghar, Raigad. These areas are actually experiencing various incidents of waterlogging and life disruptions over there.
Sharma, you spoke about transportation in the state and city as well. We are showing, I don't know whether you can see us, but we are playing out visuals of flooded railway tracks in the city as well. Any traffic advisory in terms of road transportation or railway network in the city in particular?
No, not in Mumbai, because Mumbai has already come back to life. And we are understanding that these visuals that you are showing actually was of a few days before, when actually Mumbai was experiencing a troublesome situation, and the tracks were filled with water. There had been incidents where the trains were shut down, the routes were diverted. At some places, the trains were short. So these incidents are of a few days back, but now the situation is quite normal. And over the weekend also, like I was saying earlier, there has been heavy downpour, and till yesterday we were seeing that there was an orange alert for the city, but now that has come to yellow alert. That's a breather for Mumbai. But yes, in and out, there has been rains coming in and going, and we are actually hoping, the Mumbaikars are hoping, that the rains actually happen in the catchment areas where the water supply, where the lakes are there, and so that the water supply of Mumbai area becomes good and less of worry.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Sharma, thank you. Sharma Mishra reporting there from Mumbai. In other news, a significant improvement has been seen in the flood situation of India's northeastern state of Assam, with bringing down the affected population to 5.9 lakh. 2 people lost their life on Sunday, taking the death toll to 94. The rivers Brahmaputra in some areas, along with Puri and Disang, are flowing above the danger mark. More than 30,000 inmates are taking shelter in 172 relief camps across the state. Lakhs of animals were affected because of the flood as well. Meanwhile, 3 residents of the village Dodia Mahamora and Dodia Kuligaon were attacked by a leopard while seeking refuge in Dibru Saikhowa National Park in the Assam floods situation. And joining us for more is Subina Roy, who is joining us from Dibrugarh. Subina, what more can you tell us about the floods ravaging the state as we speak?
Yes, good morning. The weather condition in Assam has improved, and that is why the population affected has also come down to 5.9 lakh. Now, talking about the districts which are majorly affected this time is Prasar, Puri, and Nagaon. The villages, when we talk about villages, more than 1,000 villages are still reeling under the deluge. And if we talk about rivers, Brahmaputra at some major points like Nyamati Ghat, Dhubri, is still flowing above danger level, and 2 other rivers, Puri and Disang, is still flowing above danger level. Now, if we talk about the relief camp operations, the government is working round the clock to take care of the relief operations. Like 172 relief camps were set up, where more than 30,000 inmates are living. Now, interestingly, a few days back, 3 villages were attacked when they were taking shelter in Dibru Saikhowa National Park. Like, this has led to increase in man-animal conflict in this time of crisis.
All right, we leave it there. Subina Roy in Dibrugarh. Thank you, appreciate it. Right, moving on to some other news we are tracking here on DD India News. All the doors of the Ratna Bhandar, the treasure trove of the Jagannath temple in the holy town of Puri in the eastern Indian state of Odisha, were opened. The entire proceedings of the opening of the Ratna Bhandar are being video recorded. The next report by DD India Shubhendu Ghosh gives us the latest from Puri.
In a historic development in the eastern Indian state of Odisha, the doors of Puri Jagannath Temple's Ratna Bhandar, or the treasure vaults, were opened on Sunday after more than 4 decades. As per the standard operating procedure, after opening the doors, the process started for taking custody of ornaments and valuables stacked in both the bhandars section-wise to pre-allocated rooms inside the Garbha Griha or Sanctum Sanctorum. The team entering the temple includes members from Reserve Bank of India and the Archaeological Survey of India as well.
We found there are a number of maybe 5 almiras are there and 2 sinduks are there. We have decided we'll be sitting maybe after 5-6 days, we'll be sitting again to reschedule, to find another suitable date to get inside the Bhitar Bhandar and to take stock of the Bhitar Bhandar ornaments.
We are interested in the security and to first verify whether everything is okay as per at least the inventory of 1978, and to make a detailed digitized specification in all details so that this recording will be complete and authentic.
Devotees expressed joy to learn about opening of the Ratna Bhandar.
We are all excited to know what are the things inside the treasure, how it is getting counted, even we can know how the gold is present inside the Jagannath, and we can see, and we are lucky to blissful to see what is inside.
Jagannath Temple in Puri is not just a spiritual center for the devotees, but also one of the richest temples in India. All traditions and rituals were followed while opening the Ratna Bhandar. The plan is to make a detailed inventory of the precious contents. Rarest of the rare gems, jewels and ornaments are said to be part of the Jagannath Temple Ratna Bhandar.
Given that the treasure has accumulated over several centuries, it will take many weeks to complete the inventory. At the end, there would be a digital inventory of the Lord's treasure. With camera person Senthil Kumar, Shubhendu Ghosh in Puri for DD India.
And now take a look at what else is making news in India. The National Testing Agency announced on Sunday that it will conduct a retest for affected candidates of Central University entrance test in the computer-based test mode on Friday. The decision has been taken considering the grievances received by a section of the candidates. According to the NTA, admit cards for all affected candidates will be issued soon. The central Indian city of Indore has set a new world record by planting more than 11 lakh samplings within 24 hours. Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister Mohan Yadav received the official certificate from the Guinness Book of World Records. The previous record was held by Assam, where 926,000 saplings were planted in a single day. The Delhi High Court will hear on Enforcement Directorate's plea challenging bail granted to Delhi's Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal on Monday. Kejriwal is accused of being involved in a money laundering case stemming from the alleged excise scam. Meanwhile, the judicial custody of former Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi and Aam Aadmi Party leader Manish Sisodia will end in the Delhi excise policy linked corruption case. And still to come on DD India News Hour. US futures waver as traders juggle Trump win bets. India beats Zimbabwe by 42 runs to wrap up the T20 series 4-1. And France's Bastille Day parade meets the Olympic torch relay in an exceptional year.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Time now for business news. US bond futures slipped and the dollar firmed on Monday as investors wagered the attack on US presidential candidate Donald Trump made his victory more likely, while injecting a whole new level of political uncertainty into markets. A holiday in Japan made for thin trading conditions, and the early action was confined to a modest rise in the dollar, while Treasury futures slipped. Proposals to levy tariffs on imports would push prices higher while eating into consumer spending power. Meanwhile, restrictions on migration could tighten the labor market and put upward pressure on wages. The dollar edged up 0.3% on the Japanese yen to 158.15, but remained well short of its recent 161.96 stop following a bout of suspected intervention. Thailand's economy faces upheaval due to factory closures and cheap Chinese imports. Several key manufacturing plants across Thailand have shut down due to rising production costs and decreased demand, leading to widespread job losses and economic instability in affected regions. As a result, there is a growing concern over the long-term economic implications and the potential for increased unemployment. Economic data released on Monday showed China's economy slowed in the second quarter. China's National Bureau of Statistics said the country's second quarter GDP rose by 4.7%. That's the slowest since the first quarter of 2023. It was also down from the 5.3% expansion in the previous quarter. Protracted property downturn and job insecurity weighed on domestic demand, Keeping alive expectations, Beijing will need to unleash more stimulus. The figures come as Beijing seeks to shore up economic confidence at a highly anticipated third plenum, a key leadership meeting that starts Monday. Although conflicting requirements such as boosting growth and cutting debt complicate those plans. The third plenary session of the 20th Communist Party of China's Central Committee convenes in Beijing from Monday. According to the main agenda of the session, the Political Bureau of the CPC Central Committee will report its work. The CPC Central Committee will also analyze the current economic situation. The four-day-long session is viewed as one of the most important meetings of the central leadership this year, as it is expected to study key issues concerning further comprehensively deepening reform and advancing Chinese modernization. Time for sports news now. One of world football's biggest tournaments has come to a close in an electrifying grand final in Berlin. Spain beat England 2-1 to win the 2024 European Championship. The Spanish team raised the silverware to cheers and applause from fans at Berlin Olympiastadion. DD India's Trent Murray was there and filed this update. Take a look.
Well, it was exactly 1 month ago that Euro 2024 kicked off with 24 of Europe's top teams all competing for what is one of the most coveted prizes in world football. And tonight we got our answer over who the winner was. It was España, Spain. 4 times they have now taken out this championship. They are the record holder now for the most number of wins in Euro history. And for Spain, in many ways, they took the hardest road to get here, taking down football heavyweights like Italy, France, Germany, and of course tonight, England. For the English, well, you can imagine there'll be disappointment. Fireworks for the Spanish. The fiesta, I imagine, will go well into the night here as Spain officially clenches that prize and can call themselves the winner of Euro 2024. Trent Murray for DD India, Berlin.
No goals at half-time as Argentina and Colombia began a delayed Copa America final at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami on Monday. The match was delayed by 82 minutes in total due to a security issue after numerous ticketless fans got inside the stadium, causing a mayhem. In the first half, Lionel Messi and Julian Alvarez both failed to convert early chances as Colombia caused them plenty of trouble with their pressing-styled play. Messi also sustained an injury during the first half that forced him out of the game for a brief period. The second half got underway after a scintillating show by pop star Shakira at halftime. Spain's Carlos Alcaraz on Sunday created history by becoming the 6th player in Open era to win Roland Garros and Wimbledon in the same year. 21-year-old defeated 7-time Wimbledon champion Novak Djokovic in the Wimbledon men's final. Alcaraz beat Djokovic in straight sets 6-2, 6-2, 7-6. The Spaniard was just too good for one of the greatest tennis players to become the Wimbledon champion once again. Djokovic put up a fight back in the third set and pushed the game to the tiebreaker, but Alcaraz played one of the best games of his career to claim a clinical win on the centre court. And India beat Zimbabwe in the 5th and final T20 game by 42 runs, clinching the 5-match series 4-1 at Harare on Sunday. Put into bat, India faced early setbacks while batting first, losing openers Yashasvi Jaiswal, Abhishek Sharma and skipper Shubman Gill within the first 5 power play overs, leaving them in a precarious position at 40 for 3. However, Samson and Parag's partnership stabilized the innings and laid the foundation for a defendable total. Sanju Samson scored 58 runs. Along with Rian Parag, he stitched a 65-run partnership. Later, Shivam Dube's cameo of 26 runs helped India post a competitive total of 167 for 6. The Indian bowling attack, led by pacer Mukesh Kumar's impressive 4 for 22 and all-rounder Shivam Dube's 2 for 25, successfully restricted Zimbabwe to 125 in 18.3 overs, sealing the win for the visitors. And before we close, the traditional fireworks display illuminated the Eiffel Tower on Bastille Day, France's national day. The show featured the usual colorful fireworks. A large flock of drones made the show by shaping Olympic signs and athletes in the sky of Paris ahead of the Games, which will kick off on the 26th of July. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Hour. You can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. It's available on Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download it. And let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.